This video is going to be how I do my brows most of the time, my favorite way to do my eyebrows. I have quite a few different products, but out of all of them, these are the products and the tools that are my favorite to use, and this is my favorite way to do my eyebrows. So before I get into it, the two products I'll mainly use is the Viseart Brow Palette and the ABH Brow Pen. And in the brow palette, I will use mainly these three shades, and most of the time it's this darkest one it looks like a black, but it's more like a deep gray. It isn't super pigmented. And the ABH Brow Pen I use in medium brown. The tools that I use are just a spoolie. This is one from e.l.f. A small angled brush. This is a Morphe M160. A MAC, let me see, what is this? A MAC 231. I use this for a concealer. And a Morphe E36, just like a pencil brush. So I'll usually start with the brow pen, and I'll start at the front of my brows. And I'll just fill in any gaps here with this pen. And it comes out pretty pigmented. I'm gonna soften it later with the spoolie. I'm gonna give that a few seconds to dry, and I'll work on the other brow. This pen, I swatched it yesterday, so it's coming out a lot heavier than it normally would, probably because I got a lot of ink in the brush tip. And it was like that when I first bought it. Over time, it came out softer, like I got less product coming out from the brush tip. And I just kind of brush right through that. And most of it will stay, but it'll leave behind some of those areas that I filled in. I have used this on the tail of my brow. I don't super love how that looks. I feel like it looks really, really harsh. If I want that look, I'll go ahead and do that, but usually that's not what I'm going for. And then after that, I'll go in with this deep shade from the Viseart palette on my angled brush. And I like to start on this spot, just for whatever reason, like that just it's an area that I like to fill in, and I can work my way out from there. I like to extend this a little bit, the tail a little bit down further than it naturally comes out. And sometimes I'll fill in from the bottom too. If I go too far outside the lines, I can clean it up with foundation later. I like to focus most of the color on the outside half, outside 3/4, and leave the inside a little bit more, how would I say, less solid, like more, you can see a little bit more of the skin through the hairs. I like how that looks. I think it looks a little bit more natural. And then there's still a little bit of color on the brush, but most of it I've already deposited. So if I want to fill in a little bit more in the front, I'll just take like whatever's residual on the brush and kind of like brush through like that. Just if I want to deepen it up a little bit. Pretty much just do the same thing on the other side. I like this brow better. This one is, I don't know, I like the shape better and just usually comes out better. I try not to pick up too much color on the brush, just a tiny little bit. I can always add more. And then I guess I'll show you how I would clean it up if I applied too much or like maybe extended this so far that it looked weird and unnatural. So it's a little bit For me, that's a little bit long, but we'll clean that up. So I'll just take foundation, usually something a little bit more hydrating, a little bit more emollient is easier to work with. And I just I'll pick up like the littlest amount on this flat brush and kind of like wiggle it back and forth wherever I'm trying to remove some of that color. And the pencil brush is really just to kind of blend out where I applied that foundation. I can do that in the front here too. Or if I want to add foundation on my brow bone, like underneath the brows, this is helpful for that too. So that's pretty much it. That's my favorite way to do my brows. I will do this before powdering usually, or avoid putting powder around the brows before I use the brow powder, because if I get too much powder in my brows, the brow powder, it won't stick as well, or it'll look kind of patchy. So I'll do this, and then I will take like a smaller fluffy brush and just go carefully around the brows with the powder to kind of set that area. So that's about it. Hopefully that was helpful. You got something out of that. I'll see you in the next one.